Yeah. Me, myself, and I. I don't feel so lonely when I close my eyes. Why do I even try? Yeah. Just me, myself, and I. My name's Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
And I'm Guy Pigden. Who was that?
That was Joel Favieri. Who wrote that. A very lonely man is Joel. A little bit lonely and sad, but it's a nice song. So here we are. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty horrific day of marking, student marking, which is never fun by any stretch of the imagination. Could be considered the worst part of the job.
Oh, I bet. It's like homework when you're a kid, right? Homework is the worst part of it when you're in school. It's also the worst part of it when you're a teacher.
Yeah.
It would seem.
Yeah.
I always thought marking homework wouldn't be that hard. You know, I just picture the teacher, they're sitting at their desk at home, working from home. They've got a glass of whiskey, a cigar, and they just sit there and kind of just work their way through like fucking idiots. This one's especially dumb. Fuck that guy. Fuck her.
Well, I mean, madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Mm-hmm. And I am doing the same thing over and over again, and I am expecting different results.
Well, what's
because
the role? You expect them to pass?
The students still do something different,
yeah.
To some degree, but it's still quite maddening. I always expect them to pass, always have high hopes, always have my dream.
Is that one day one of my students will pass?
My dream is that one day all of my students will pass.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that my students will essentially all, like my group, my intake of students, all of them will just pass. No one will drop out. Or no, it's actually fine if they drop out. But no one who hasn't dropped out will just fail, outright fail. So far, we're not in danger of that happening. So, that's when I'll retire from teaching, the day that it happens.
Yeah.
But I don't need to worry about that anytime soon.
Well, this episode has an official sponsor, so we better shout them out. That's Connor McGinty, who gave us a donation via the Buy Me a Beer link in the description down below. So thank you very much, Connor, for the very generous donation. You are the official sponsor of episode 244 of the Guy and Harley podcast. You will have compliments bathed upon you and shout-outs are many. So if anybody else would like to sponsor an episode in the future, there's plenty of links in the description. The one you're looking for is the Buy Me a Beer one, and you can be the official sponsor of any episode, and we will help you. We will use your money to buy the beers for the show.
Well, can we talk a little bit about Connor?
Yeah.
Where he used to work.
Yep.
The MIQ facility. In Christchurch.
And Auckland as well. He also did it in Auckland. I'm drinking a pickle beer. It's a beer with pickles in it, presumably.
Whereas I am drinking a C4 workout, pre-workout drink. Because I like the podcast.
Stay up all night.
Podcast is very strenuous.
Yeah. And
so this workout drink will help get me through it.
Yeah.
So he worked,
MIQ, yeah.
He worked at MIQ, and I imagine, actually I really have no idea, but I do imagine that there was a lot of standing round in that particular role.
I assume so. I went and saw him one time and had to drop something off, and he was sitting behind a desk, someone had to approach and whatever, he'd let them in or whatever. But a lot of sitting around, I assume. Sitting around, standing around. I think they do go on kind of patrols around the hotel and make sure that everybody's where they should be. And also they do all have jobs, like as in there are certain things they're meant to do when they're ushering people in and out of, because people arrive, but then they've got to get tested on like day 1, day 3 and day 7 or something like that, and that all requires a certain amount of kind of ushering people around and doing stuff. So they do have tasks to do. But I imagine there's quite a bit of standing around. Sitting around. MIQ guard.
So he needs the
That's our-
podcaster's sustenance.
Yeah. Well, he
Keep
does
him going.
He does listen occasionally, but not all the time. There's also an anonymous donor who has chosen to remain anonymous. I know who it is. It's a friend of the family. It's a friend of Connor's, actually. And so they gave an even more generous tip as well via the same Buy Me a Beer link down below. So thank you so much to Anonymous. I love your work hacking the Russians in the Ukraine at the moment. You're doing some great work, so keep it up, Anonymous. So, yeah. That's all the shout outs.
What have Anonymous done?
In the Ukraine, so Anonymous have been hacking the Russians and releasing data to do with Russian companies and Russian oligarchs and other Russian, things that state secrets.
It's always Russian oligarchs now, isn't it?
Everything's oligarchs.
A baddie is always a Russian oligarch now.
It's the billionaire. Oligarch means billionaire.
Yeah.
In Russian billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the billionaires have often been the bad
tenant.
guy in the eyes of the
But they're Russian
public.
now.
Yeah.
Tenant.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're releasing sensitive information.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Like
of the
how much
situation.
money these oligarchs are making.
I guess so. I didn't actually delve into what the information was. I was like, good on you, Anonymous, for doing your bit to help the Ukraine. Bloody good on you.
Guys, this oligarch made $27 million last quarter.
Yeah.
Boom, got him.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe they could be done for like tax evasion or tax fraud or some sort of. There must be something. I don't know. I don't know what the point is, but get him, boys.
Here's this Russian oligarch's sensitive nudes. Got him.
Yeah.
They're on the internet now. Anyone can see that oligarch's dick.
The internet is forever.
Yeah.
One more shout out is Kai Coolman, who is owed a shout out on Twitch. So Kai Coolman, thank you for that shout for that. I think I can't remember how or why they owe them. They requested one, they got it anyway. Kai Coolman. So thank you very much, Kai Coolman. You are a cool man, and thank you for supporting us with. I think it was a donation of bits. You can donate bits on Twitch, which is like a few cents or something. So thank you very much to Kai Coolman as well, legend. So thanks so much to all of you guys. So. Amsterdam.
We are going to Amsterdam.
Yep.
Can we say that?
Yeah.
Officially?
Well, I mean, we haven't been officially nominated, and we haven't bought our tickets yet.
Well, we have officially been nominated. Because we've been told we'd be officially nominated.
Not officially announced, though. There's nothing like a website that we can share or anything like that makes it kind of official publicly.
No, they don't do that for another month or something.
No, they said the month before the event, so that would be May 2nd.
Oh, okay.
Or May 6th, May 6th.
Yeah. So a few weeks away.
Yeah, a week and a half away, something like that. So, so hopefully that all goes true, but it all comes through. But I haven't bought tickets yet. Still, because a couple of reasons. Like, one, haven't seen anything official, but that's not the real reason. I just kind of been putting it off because I've got fuck all money at the moment. And also don't know exactly if we should go or if I should go somewhere else after Amsterdam, such as London or any other places like that. Got to give that a little bit more thought because it's only a week. We've only got a week over in Amsterdam, and we are over there because we've been nominated for acting awards for both Older and Immy the Vegan, our films, and there's links down below to see those films as well. So that's all a very exciting news. So June we will be in Amsterdam for the should we say the name of it yet?
Yeah.
The was it? No.
Septimius Awards.
Septimius Awards. The Septimius Awards.
Or, yeah. Something like
Septimius Awards.
Yeah.
So go. You can go and check those out. They'll be announcing us soon. And so we will be over there for a big awards night. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we win. Although I don't personally hold high hopes that I will win, but you never know.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, yes. It's one of those really interesting things where you don't know what you're going into. You don't know if when you step foot off the plane, the red carpet's going to be rolled out. You're going to be treated like royalty. You're going to be whisked off to all these industry events.
Well, we're staying in an airport hotel. So,
budget, airport hotel.
So-
but again, even that can be misleading because I went to the only festival that you didn't go to, which was for I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, was a Spain festival called Terra Molins Festival, and that was probably like the last festival. The last sort of festival that we got invited to. And they were basically like, and I obviously had no idea, what is this festival? What is it about? It's actually been going for many, many years. And in Europe, people take these things quite seriously, horror. And so they actually take horror, like they view horror like it's just an actual film, right? Like, they base it on the quality. It's not, it's just a horror movie, right? They actually treat it with the reverence and respect it deserves. And so, which again was completely foreign to me after everyone shitting on it over here. Not everyone, a couple of rogue reviewers, but also just the general, what I was shocked at I did step off the and I was staying at a budget hotel, and they did roll out the red carpet, parties every day, all food and everything covered, not to mention some other substances. Okay, so it was everything was rolled out, and there was like an event every night, and there was screenings every night over the course of a week, and it was by far and away the best festival I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I got up on stage and I talked about the film and talked about coming over and all that sort of thing. And it was just like one of the most amazing times. Obviously, Spain, Barcelona is a very picturesque place to go and visit. And so it was sort of like, okay, I had no idea. I didn't even know, like, I'm not even sure if I had the guy's number when I stepped off the plane. I was kind of like, if this goes south and I don't meet this person, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here because I have no idea where I am. I have no idea where I'm going. I have no idea about anything. I'm completely clueless. I'm just relying.
Don't speak the language.
I don't speak the language. I'm just relying on meeting this person at the airport. And if I don't meet him, if he doesn't spot me, if he doesn't identify me, I'm done. I'll send this guy an email. What if he doesn't reply to anybody, buzz? I'm done. And so I was like, I've really taken a big gamble here. That gamble absolutely paid off, and that was definitely one of the best festival, also best sort of like experience overseas in terms of like going to see really cool shit. And it was just an amazing time, and I would love for us to go back there with another horror film because of how good it was. And they really knew how to... Now, I'm not really expecting the same level of star treatment, shall we say. And in fact, I'm quite, not confident, I'm quite okay if it goes the exact opposite way. And they're sort of like, here's the hotel. This is your room, this little shoebox here. We'll come and get you later on. And here's the thing, and we're in this rundown venue. There's something leaking from the thing, and all this. Like, if that were to happen, or if you were to just get there and it would be like I had imagined the first time, where it's like, well, there is no award ceremony. There's nothing happened here. You guys have just come halfway across the world.
We tricked you into coming across the world.
We tricked you into spending thousands of dollars and traveling literally onto the other side of the world, across pretty much the furthest you could get to from where we are now.
Before you start getting closer again.
Yeah.
Go any further, you start getting closer.
We got you. If they did that, then that is just a hilarious story. And one that would...
It's a trip to Amsterdam as well.
Yeah, a story, kind of befitting our lot in life. We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
What's that? Is that Star Wars?
That's C-3PO,
C-3PO,
complaining.
Yeah.
Complaining about, being a droid.
Well, I hope that it is a big, fun, glamorous event that we get, and with the hotel is nice, and they do treat us a little bit special, and that it's a fun night with lots of glitz and glamour and great photos, because it all looks great for the for the career. It looks good for you and me as individuals. It was good for both Older and Emmy the Vegan as movies. Great publicity to get people to watch them and all that type of thing. So there's lots of benefits to it. And then on top of that, it's all wrapped up in a fun trip to Amsterdam. Mary Wilson on the live stream says, no, mind thou tongue, which I assume is a reference to me saying that I wasn't going to win, and to smoke the weed. Well, don't worry, there will be some weed smoked, although I'm hearing some disconcerting rumours that the weed is now only available in cafes for residents.
Wow.
Yeah, so they've changed that. They've changed that. Well, I need to Google it myself, but I had heard it before that the residents, it's just for residents now. So if you're a resident in Amsterdam, you can go and buy a weed cookie at the cafe or a mushroom cookie at the cafe. But I figure it can't be that hard, right? I mean, surely some of the locals from this awards night will be able to help us out.
Well,
but I'd rather go into a cafe, obviously, and sit with a cup of coffee and have the Amsterdam experience. But
yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to settle for the red light district again. Guess we'll just have to settle for the authentic red light district experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, I even heard that the red light district is not what it once was. That
oh wow,
the whole city's kind of cleaning itself up. That it was
sound good at all.
That it was attracting the wrong type of tourist, our type. So yeah, shout out to Joanna Sequar on the live stream. Both it's good to hear from both of us. It's good to hear from you too. So Amsterdam. That's exciting.
Now, there is also quite a funny aspect of the Amsterdam trip, which we haven't considered. Now, obviously, there's still time. But in theory, just according to the records, the rat test records, the PCR records, neither of us have had COVID.
No.
I mean, I have, but it's unconfirmed. But I definitely had it. There's no doubt that that's what it was. And, I look forward. I just don't know if there's an easy way to prove without, spending some money whether or not you've had it because they can look at your...
But what do you need to prove whether or not you had it or not?
Well, purely for you to stick it in your face. That's the only reason I'd be doing it. Well, no, not actually the only reason, but because here's the other reason.
Stick what in my face? I don't get it.
Your disbelief at my illness and 10-day isolation.
Yeah.
As you sort of gloated and go, oh, it's just a cold. Oh, he's got a little cold.
He's got the COVID.
Oh,
he's got a
I don't believe
nose.
it. I don't believe him that he knows what COVID is or not.
COVID. Oh, I just took the side of the 10 rat tests that you took.
7.
The 7 rat tests that you took that said you were negative. So,
but if you took the side of science, Harley, you would also know that those rat tests are very inaccurate.
Well, okay, but even if they were 50% accurate, 3.5 of them should have said positive. If you
no, that's the thing. Again, if you'd looked at some of the research around this, Harley, you'd see that if the virus doesn't hit a certain point, it will never create a positive on the rat test, even though you will have had it. It will be essentially running underneath the what would trigger a positive thing. You're just here with the virus the whole time.
Yeah.
So anyway, but let's just say hypothetically that neither of us have had it.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
We're going to the red light district. We're going to smoke weed in the cafes. Right? We're going to be...
I hope so.
And COVID is rampant everywhere, but it is rampant in Amsterdam.
Is it? Have you looked?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you looked into that?
Yeah. Because they don't really have any restrictions.
Right.
So for two people who don't have COVID, it's actually entirely likely that the first thing we could do
is catch COVID.
Now, this creates a problem for us because we are coming for an awards ceremony.
Yeah.
Where the people at the awards ceremony are presumably not allowed to have COVID.
Well, I think I did see something that said you had to have a vaccine pass.
Yep.
or a negative COVID test to get in. So
Right.
I'll have a vaccine pass and a positive COVID test potentially.
That's what I'm saying. So
We'll catch it on the plane probably.
well, that's what I'm saying. It would just be hilarious. Or even if because we're going out and about, seeing the sights, and in seeing those sights, we caught COVID before the award ceremony and couldn't go to the award ceremony that we'd travelled halfway around the world for.
Well, we better look at visas and stuff as well.
I've looked into those.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the story?
You'll find if you've got a New Zealand passport.
Right, yeah. That's good. Good old New Zealand. It's always fine if you've got a New Zealand
Neutral
passport.
New Zealand. Can't beat it.
Yeah.
And the same for me with my British passport, actually. But there's another wrinkle in the tale, which is that my British passport happens to expire on the same month that this trip is scheduled for.
Yeah.
And I was like,
What do you need your British passport for, though? Or, like, if you go to England?
well, that's the only passport I have.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, therefore, I need it to go anywhere.
Got it.
And I was like, oh, well, what's the date on that? And I was like, 23rd of June. Okay, I'm back before then, so who cares? Actually,
No, you gotta be within,
the
like-
embassy cares.
Yeah.
Is
it 6 weeks?
It's
Or 6 months?
No, it's 3 months.
It's within 3 months. So
3
if
months.
If your passport is going to expire within 3 months, you pretty much can't travel.
So what's the point
the
of
point?
making
Yeah,
of
why-
it expire at a certain time?
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
I agree.
So anyway, I sort of looked into, I was like, okay, well, I better renew this immediately. And I looked into the details of how I do that. You know, the other issue being that it's a British passport and I'm based here in New Zealand. And British nationals, hold on.
There it is. That's the COVID.
Well, it's good if I get it
COVID
now.
right in.
You better hope that I sneeze on you, because then we both get it before then, which means
Well,
that...
I've got a much better plan, though. I'm just going to go and talk to the chemist and get my 4th booster soon.
Yeah,
was
I mean,
like,
that'll help.
I'm just going to go get my booster. That's the equivalent of catching the virus once anyway. So
That will help.
I'll go get my booster and not have to have the COVID.
You won't be. You might not be eligible though.
I think I was going to go talk to the chemist about it, but I think it's been 3 months since my last one. But I'm not sure if just everybody's eligible for the 4th one or not. But
So
boost me up, Daddy. Stick it in me.
I looked for. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I better start this reapplication process. I mean, I do have 8 weeks,
Yeah.
which will surely be plenty of time for this passport to be processed. I mean, even though
How long can it take?
How long could it take? 11 weeks, apparently. So could be some big problems on the horizon.
So it might just be me going after all.
Well, if by and also look, I'm going to be real with everyone here. The UK is notorious for having very slow processing of things. Like this has only just gone online, right? This process of applying online for this thing has only just happened. It used to be you had to fill out all this documentation. It wasn't done online, and just everything moves very slowly when it comes to sort of official processing of things. And so when they say 11 weeks, certainly hope that it's not, because but if it is, then I'll have to apply for emergency travel documents. So, and even like just hypothetically that happens and I have these emergency travel documents, what do you think is going to happen at customs? You think it's going to go smoothly?
Oh, yeah, it'll take a while to figure all that bullshit out.
You think that I might be stuck there an extra 3 hours?
Yeah,
And get the full pat down?
yeah.
Now, the other thing to consider for us is actually the shortness of our trip creates a significant likelihood of us being drug smugglers, which means that, again, at customs, we may be getting the red carpet treatment, so
Yeah.
to speak. Yeah. That's where they'll be rolling out the red carpet for us. They go, that right this way, sir,
Yeah.
into the probing office,
Yeah.
Where we will be conducting a full search and then
Sounds kind of exciting.
breaking down all the reasons why you're here. Why you're here? The Septimius Awards.
Never heard of it.
Never
That's a
heard of
made-up
them.
thing.
That's not real. That's not a
Septimius.
real word.
Yeah. It's a Greek.
You can stay here overnight.
Yeah.
So
We're sending you home in the morning.
So there's lots of variables of like sort of how this can maybe not come together at all or go really, really badly. The other issue is that we're only going over for a short period of time because, well, for me personally, I can't really take that much time off. I'm in the middle of teaching people.
Yeah.
And so, it's travel halfway across the world. Don't
3 days of jet lag.
Probed at the airport.
Yeah.
Don't recover from your jet lag.
Caught COVID in the on the plane.
Caught COVID on the plane.
Yeah. Got probed when you got to the airport.
Didn't get to go to the show because of the COVID.
Took an extra 3 hours to get through the airport because of your travel documents.
Making a 30-hour trip, so more like a 34-hour trip.
Yeah.
Yep. Both ways, of course.
Yeah.
So traveled 60 plus hours around the world, multiple stops, caught COVID, didn't go to the ceremony, and there it was.
Yeah.
That was our trip.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be smooth and fine and fun. But I'm a positive dude. Shout out to Daniela on the live stream. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so I think we'll be okay. I'm looking forward to it. I don't really want to go and look at the Van Gogh Museum or anything like that. That doesn't sound particularly thrilling to me.
No, it's the red light district all the way.
Yeah, the red light district.
Red light district.
I'm really interested in the cafes, the weed cafes.
Some castles and some cafes.
Yeah.
I've actually been to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And what I remember about Amsterdam was it was kind of like these long canals with these boats going through it.
Yeah.
People all sitting outside the cafes with bikes all lined up.
Yeah.
And drinking beer.
Right. That sounds great.
And kind of this, in this kind of old-timey looking area, right? That's what I remember. And then, of course, I remember the red light district very differently. But, that who knows what it's like now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a look to see if there was any support from the New Zealand Film Commission for the likes of us, to see if there was anything like the travel grant, the producer travel grant, or the talent development grant, both of which would be quite suitable because I feel like I could put together quite a strong case for both really. The producer travel grant is like you're going to support these films, and the talent development grant is we're going over there to receive awards for our brilliance and meet a lot of people. And then I'd also say that I was going to meet with a bunch of people, film festival related people in my position as working for the film festival here. So I'd be like, that is developing my career, you know. Sadly, I had a look at the website today, thinking I could apply. Sadly, all of the money for the year for those grants has been all eaten up by somebody.
It's just it's all
been given to Taika Waititi.
The new year's just started. Who
doesn't even need it. No, the new financial year's just started, but the new funding round is not until like July something.
Yeah.
So we miss out by about a month. So no extra special treatment for us, no extra funding for us. And then here's the thing with me is when I get back, I'm going to be going from I'm going to land on the 12th or so, and then I've got 1 day off, and then I think on the 13th or 14th, I then need to fly from, so I'll get back from all of this, I fly from Auckland down to Christchurch, Christchurch up to Auckland, Auckland down to Wellington, Wellington up to Christchurch, all on the same sort of 3 or 4 days there. So I get back after being totally rooted with all of those hours flying and traveling, and then do 4 days worth of domestic travel all over the show. So I'm going to be feeling pretty fucked, I'd say.
Yeah, but to be honest, that travel at the end will be like a cakewalk to you.
Maybe.
Won't even bat an eyelid. You'll be like, mate, I've sat in a plane for 14 hours.
Yeah.
You think this little fucking hour trip intimidates me now?
Yeah.
Forget about it.
It's just the actual act of traveling, all the airports and all that. It all kind of catches up with you. Just sitting in an airport. It's tiring.
I tell you what really catches up with you. It's the jet lag that catches up with you. The jet lag will get you. And for me, at least, the last couple of times that I've traveled, it's taken me exactly the amount of time that we're over there
to
sort of start feeling better.
Yeah.
Now, the good news is I think that Amsterdam is slightly less drastic in terms of the time. Like it's maybe like 3 hours less than the exact opposite of what London is, or something like that. I could be wrong about that though.
Yeah, so they're 10 hours behind us.
Yeah, there you go. So that's
I don't think that's that great. Like, so
no, it's not good.
yeah,
I mean, that's 2 hours
Like
we
if
get.
it's-
If it was the exact opposite, it'd be 12 hours, right?
yeah, exactly. So they're 10 hours behind us.
Yeah.
So when it's, whatever, like 10 p.m. here, it's 12 noon there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently, the jet lag thing is also like if you do that, like it's actually really bad for you, like your health.
To do what?
To swap time zones
Right. Yeah.
at all, ever
Yeah.
in your life.
Right.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, well, I guess if you think about it, a human was never designed to do such a thing. A human was never designed to go to the other side of the world,
No.
in a day.
Couldn't.
And be in a totally different time zone. I do think that part of it as well, though, is just your disturbed sleep, because basically you sleep like shit on the planes. You're busy. You got all this broken up sleep in there, and so basically you're spending 2 days of sleeping 2 hours at a time here and there. So I think that's part of it as well. So it's also just being like super tired and the jet lag as well.
Daniela says maybe we should catch up over there.
Well, if she's over there, there you
Is
go.
she over there?
No, I mean, no, not that. Well, this is breaking news on the podcast. Daniela from the live stream might be going to Amsterdam. As far as I'm aware, she is in New Zealand.
I don't think she would be going there, but
Well, maybe she's been nominated.
she may have been nominated as well.
Yeah,
We don't know.
yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of if and buts about that trip before we could say it pulled off without a hitch. The other big factor is, we did talk about this a little bit last time, but the suit factor. It is exclusively. I can't remember what the email says
Yeah, it says
now.
tuxedos and ball gowns. And I'm too fat for my suit. Too fat for my suit? Is that how you speak to your king? That's me, my big fat man trying to squeeze into my little suit. So
What's that from?
That's Game of Thrones, where he goes. he's putting on his armor and
Who is?
Baratheon, Robert Baratheon. This is at the beginning of the first.
Old drunk Robert Baratheon.
Yeah, and Lord Eddard Stark calls him. He says, "You're too fat for your armor," and he goes, "Too fat for my armor? Is that how you speak to your king?" and then he yells at the boy that's helping him get dressed. He goes, "Well, you heard him. Go and get my breastplate stretcher." Yeah, good stuff. Good show.
Yeah, so I am a little because when they say, I was a bit confused by what they said actually.
Yep.
Because they're like tuxedo
Slash smoker.
smoker.
I didn't know what that was.
And
I
a
was just like,
smo-
hey, I'm a smoker. Yo.
yeah.
All right.
So I'm assuming that means smoking jacket.
Yeah.
And a smoking jacket is just sort of a suit jacket.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so we don't have to wear like a sort of what they call a penguin suit, right? Which is a true tuxedo.
Yeah.
We could just wear a suit. Now, I did also see, for me, what I would do is I would dust off my Hallenstein suit,
Yeah.
my ill-fitting Hallenstein suit from clean the mothballs off,
Yeah.
and chuck that on, right? That's
Yeah.
my sort of main plan. But I did see, because they did show some like clips of the award ceremony and stuff from like previous years, and everyone did seem to look very well dressed.
Yeah, but I had a look too, and I did see some people that were just wearing a suit, that were not wearing the bow tie and all of that. So I was like, yeah, she'll be right. I'm a nominee. They're not going to kick me out because I got the wrong kind of suit on.
Yeah.
I'm going to be wearing a black suit, hopefully. I need to make sure this thing still fucking fits me.
Sunday best.
I'm wearing a black suit with probably a black tie, probably. Although one concern, I don't know what shoes I would wear, which would suit all of that. Doc Marten boots might look a bit weird. With my suit.
That's not going to fly.
Yeah. Well, the weather in June is it says like the average is between 11 degrees to 20 degrees, presumably Celsius. So yeah, Celsius. So that's quite cold, really. That's like Dunedin weather. That's pretty much
not
Dunedin
good,
weather.
really.
Yeah, so June. But I thought in New Zealand is around June, that winter in Amsterdam would not be June. But what do I know? I'm not a meteorologist.
Are we going to be preloading for the show?
I assume so. Here's what I picture is going to happen. I picture that we're going to arrive. It's great that we're staying at the airport hotel, really, because we can just get off the plane and go immediately to sleep.
But no, we can't.
Why? Because of the 4 hours and the COVID test. And
No. Forget all that.
Yeah.
We've got to do that as well. No, we
Yeah.
can't because our stay doesn't start when we get there.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
So we need a hotel for the first night of our own.
Or the first few
something.
nights.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Because we're not staying there just for those nights. So
Well, I guess we should talk to that hotel anyway and just see about staying some extra nights there.
potentially, yeah.
If it's not a total shithole. So it's an airport hotel, but it's 23 minutes away from the venue by car. So it's 23 minutes away from the, the place where they're having the big event, and that is in the central city of Amsterdam. So hopefully it's, not too far out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's 23 minutes away from the awards show, but is it 23 minutes away from the Amsterdam life?
Well, no, I assume it is because I looked at the map and it seemed like it wasn't that far away from the Van Gogh Museum and other museums and stuff around that central CBD area. So
The Van Gogh.
I think it's okay. Van Gogh. Is that how you say it?
No.
Apparently, summer starts in early June. So it's the very beginning of summer. So that's not so bad.
So it sounds like they have a Dunedin summer then, by the sound of it.
Yeah.
It could be a real Dunedin summer.
Yeah.
Nocturnal says suits are fine for the red carpet with a nice tie. Black is best. Lloyd Kaufman got banned from Cannes for wearing a pink tuxedo.
I better be careful because I've got a pink tie or like a purple tie that I sometimes bust out. So I better not bust it out.
Well, we
again.
also can't do the Dumb and Dumber joke
No,
again.
which we've done before. Showing up in both ridiculous bright coloured suits.
Yeah, in the Dumb and Dumber suits.
Yeah. Well, no, I assume that
Never gets old.
I'm assuming if we're some sort of nominee and they've paid for our hotels and they've asked us to come all across the world, surely they will have some sort of, event, sort of pre-show thing for us that we can go to and, as you say, preload at that. It would be quite funny. I think it'd be quite cool if what we do is during the nomination, because it's going to go Best Oceanian Actor, and the nominees are, and it's going to be you and me and 50 other people, and it would be nice to live stream it right here on the Guy and Harley podcast just from my phone. So we'll just go live maybe on the podcast, and it'll be, and the nominees are, and we'll be streaming, to the podcast listeners, and they can watch. And then if one of us wins, then all the better. And if we don't, well, that's funny too. And we'll go, all right, sweet. See you guys later. See you guys for the next episode of the Guy and Harley podcast.
Yeah, all right. Well, that was a fun trip, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we made a horrible mistake. We'll see you on the other side of the world sometime next week.
Sometime next week when I'll be landing and going immediately into 3 shows around the country. Christ.
Well, I'll be happy to do that. I've got to teach the next day.
Yeah, well, that'll be tough too. At least you can do it from home. I just feel like...
I can't do it from home.
Oh, you have to go into the office, will
Yeah.
you? Shit. That'll be tough. That'll be tough. Yeah. Well, especially because you'll have to take me to the airport first, and then then you got to go all the way to work. So, in other news unrelated to Amsterdam, the short film I produced, Dubai, is now completed. It's all handed in. It met all its deadlines and was ready to rock. And it's having its cast and crew screening officially. I've just paid the fee and all that on Sunday, May 15th in Auckland. And so that is going to be a fun event, and you are of course invited, Guy.
Thank you.
And we've got a few seats to fill, so I might even be able to get a few Sifty 150 listeners along. Just slide into my DMs and let me know if you're interested. Ben Fowler, I'm looking in your direction. and various others. Whoever else is interested, let me know, and you can come along. It's not the premiere. It's important to differentiate between the premiere and the cast and crew screening, because the premiere, if we advertise this, little filmmaking insider tip, if you advertise this as the premiere, then the official premiere, and we want to have a screening to show everybody, and you do bring some public people along, then it's you've wasted your premiere
status.
Yeah, and you want to keep that for your festival submissions, because the festivals that want that's interesting to them, to be able to say world premiere, and they give it a bit of extra special treatment if it's a world premiere. So yeah, you want to have your cast and crew screening to show everybody and thank them and tell people about it, but it's just important, don't call it a premiere. It's a cast and crew screening.
Filmmaking tips.
And you can't sell the tickets either, really, because if you sell the tickets, then it's just a public event, and that's your premiere, technically, right? So, yeah. So this will be a free screening. Free screening, not a premiere.
You'd say it's to cover costs or something.
Yeah. Oh, you
tickets
could
sell
probably
to cover costs.
You could probably do that. Yeah. I don't see why that would be a problem.
Because you got to pay for a
cinema hire.
Well, also
DCP.
With the premiere status, if you did say it was a premiere, in theory, you would also have to get a rating.
Yeah.
And,
well, if it's a public screening, you got to get a rating too.
Which now would cost a lot of money.
Well, how much is that roughly?
Oh, well, actually, it must be cheaper for shorts.
Yeah.
But I remember that, like, the discounted price for older.
Yeah.
The discounted price, mind you, which is like essentially 2/3 or 3/4 off, was still like, I think, just over $1,000.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's that much for a short.
No.
But yeah, it ain't free. It ain't free to get the rating. To say, I don't know, I guess this one might get a PG-13 rating. There's a small amount of death in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. But we won't need to, hopefully. Not yet. But yes, that's going to be fun. So slide into my DMs if you'd like to come along to that.
To Dubai.
The other day, so your mate must have come along and sprayed our cockroaches, right? Did he do it?
He hasn't confirmed to me, but I have seen a lot of dead cockroaches around.
Me too. I've seen a lot of dead cockroaches around as well, and it happened just in time because the other day
I'll message him right now just to see if he can confirm.
He must have done it because there's just dead cockroaches everywhere. They're just raining from the rooftops,
raining from the skies,
ceiling, raining from the ceiling, just dripping down.
Like
just dropping down my back, down the back of my shirt, scuttling around down there. So the other day though, I was on the phone and I was cooking. And I opened the drawer in the kitchen while I was cooking. It was all happening at the same time. And what should scuttle around there but a cockroach?
Nope.
Big fat one.
Nope.
All over the cutlery. The cutlery cockroach. And of course the spray was nearby. So I grabbed the spray, but I was cooking. I was on the phone, and it was an important part of the cooking time. Somebody had called me at a bad time. So I was cooking at a time when I was talking at a time I needed to be cooking. Now I've got this cockroach situation, and I couldn't spray him because he was all over the cutlery. I didn't want to have to,
wash all the cutlery.
Wash everything, Although technically some people out there would be like, you're going to wash it anyway because the cockroaches were on it.
Right.
But, so I didn't want to spray poison all over our cutlery and then have to deal with it all. And so he escaped to scuttle on my cutlery another day.
Well, I've had a few cockroach encounters recently, and I was actually by the person that was coming to spray for the cockroaches. He gave me some heavy-duty industrial spray. It's like it just really blasts out, you know. It's like really powerful, potent stuff.
It's like a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
A fire extinguisher.
Yeah, exactly. And so there was a huge, giant, I have two instances. There's one giant cockroach who scuttled out from behind my cabinet, which has a bunch of my film gear in, and then it just scuttled out, and I just gently, with a trembling hand, opened the window, and it just kept scuttling right out the window.
Yeah.
And I was like...
A peaceful revolution.
I was like, go well, my friend.
Yeah.
Go well.
Yeah.
Never come here again.
Yeah.
It was like that World War II situation where they went out and they played soccer on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that was World War I think.
Was it World War I?
Yeah, Yeah.
So yeah, they went out and they had they called a truce, and they came in and they played a bit of soccer amongst all the dead bodies, kicked the old soccer ball around, tripped over a couple of their fallen comrades, no doubt, who were rotting in a ditch. But hey, it's Christmas.
Christmas.
Hey guys, it's Christmas. Who cares about it? Oh, that's one's fallen on a dead body. Well, someone's got to go in and pick it up.
Yeah.
Someone's got to get the ball out of there.
Well, the ball might have been a human head, for all we know.
I think that sounds a more
step too far.
Yeah,
one step too far.
Yeah, one step too far.
Well, it might have been. They might not have been able to tell whose head, which side he came from.
So it was a neutral head.
It's a neutral head, exactly, and you can use that for soccer.
So the second cockroach incident, I had this heavy duty spray because I've got the regular spray, which has proven somewhat ineffective in the past. And I got this big spray, another giant that they seemed to be getting bigger. Seem to be mutating.
Yeah.
They really, or only the big ones are left because we killed all the small ones. You know, the poison's got the small ones, but the big ones.
We've hurried evolution along.
Yeah, the big ones, they laugh off that.
Yeah.
And so I sprayed him. I sprayed him and I sprayed him, and he just kept living.
Yeah.
And I was like, why won't you die?
Mm-hmm. Why won't you die?
And
5 points to the listener that can tell us what that's from.
And so anyway, I sprayed the shit out of him. Eventually, after I sprayed him into oblivion and he still continued to live, I stomped on him as he was sort of, drugged out in his, poisoned state.
Yeah.
But I was just like, man, what this heavy duty stuff don't do shit. It's going to kill him in an instant, isn't it?
Well, I think, it's kind of like fighting the boss on a video game. You got to figure out the technique, like if you just, go into the old video game and you start shooting at the boss, it doesn't work. You've got to shoot it, you got to shoot at the eyeball, or you got to shoot at the legs.
And you've also got to jump. When he shoots something at you,
you've got to jump.
And then duck, right, when he shoots higher. So it's jump, duck, 2 shots.
Yeah.
Jump, duck, 2 shots.
Yeah.
To beat the
2
boss.
shots at a specific point in his body.
Yeah.
Well, the trick with the cockroaches is you use the first spray to knock him over, flip him onto his back. And that's what you're aiming for. Get him onto his back. Because if you keep spraying his back, like his shell, the poison seems to take a while to get through. But if you flip him over and then you spray him on the stomach, they seem to die a lot quicker. This is what I've noticed. So so sometimes you spray them and they get a fright and kind of flip over by themselves, or they're just kind of writhing in agony and flipping over by themselves. When they flip over on their back, that's when you got to get them.
Well, where are you seeing these dead ones?
Oh, there's 2 in my front porch.
Yeah.
There's I think I saw a few around my back porch as well, actually. Maybe that was it for the dead ones, and a few alive ones here as well. But I've just seen them kind of generally around. I haven't really taken too much note, but more than what I just mentioned, more than just the front and back porch.
Yeah, well, I saw a few dying on the front porch yesterday.
I saw some on your side of the house as well.
Yeah,
that were dying,
and then I sort of did a little loop.
There's one in my recycling.
And I saw another couple, and obviously the thing is they don't stick around for long because the birds do get them.
Yeah,
the birds
do get poisoned by them.
Yeah, the birds are in quick to get poisoned by the poisoned cockroaches, but they're all over it, man.
So are the ants. The ants love it.
They do.
Yeah,
bless them. I've sent the message to him. I'll see if he replies, and we can confirm whether or not. Another great purge event has happened.
I reckon it must have.
Or it's cockroach dying season. We don't really know.
The weather is changing.
We don't know how these cockroaches react, but
this whole you, me, both being nominated for the same award in Amsterdam thing is really, really social media gold. I feel like it's really social media gold because we're friends and we're colleagues who have been nominated for the same award and it's in Amsterdam. And I feel like that's really got all the hallmarks of what you need. It's like a competition and all of that type of stuff. So it's good stuff. It's brilliant social media gold.
Well, it is interesting. I wonder if what's happened, because obviously this has happened in the Oscar tier as well, where 2 acting friends have presumably, I don't know when it's happened, obviously not all actors are friends, but I'm sure that there has been instances, and it's probably quite rare because obviously it takes quite a lot to be not, there's only 5 people, I think, 4 or 5 people to get nominated for an Oscar, Best Actor each year. And then for both of them to be friends, but they're in Hollywood, they travel in the same circles. So it certainly has to have happened that 2 very good friends were both nominated for an Oscar.
Makes sense.
And maybe one of them won it. Now, what was the other one like? Was the other one like, oh, good on you, bro, I wish you the best?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, obviously said that either way.
Yeah.
But was he in the back of his head? Fuck this guy, man. Fuck this guy.
He wasn't even that
I
good.
acted way
I did a
better.
better job.
Fucking Guy? He doesn't even have an agent. You're telling me that Guy without an agent has out-acted me. I fucking get cast in things on the regular. He's done one ad for Countdown back in 2011.
Now he's the winner of an award.
Now he's winning an award? Are you fucking serious?
No, but look, in this case, I really sincerely believe that out of you and me, you are the one that will win it. Because the roles, so you got your role in Older versus my role in Emmy the Vegan. And I really feel like one of them is more award worthy, both in terms of the story, but also the acting and everything. And that is your role in Older. So
but I'm
really just along for the ride. But
those are really famous last words.
Low expectations for actually winning.
Famous last assumptions.
You never know. I mean,
that I make. Based off what you've just said. And I go, yeah that's right. Of course. It would be ridiculous. It would be absolutely ridiculous for my pivotal role in Older, crying on cue, tear down my eye.
Also, it's a drama romance. Challenging acting as opposed to like sort of a goofy comedy, which is Emmy the Vegan. My role in Emmy the Vegan is sort of, goofy comedy role. It just doesn't seem like it would win, but hey,
that's exactly the type of, that's exactly the statement you would make before it happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be, you never know, maybe over there in Amsterdam, they're just like, this humour. We just love this type of humour.
We just
cannot get enough of this type of acting and humour. And the winner of Best Oceanic Actor is Harley Neville for his role in Emmy the Vegan.
And you just hear from the background,
oh
come on!
Maybe the background, you'll be sitting next to me. You were like, oh, come on!
And then you'll hear, oh, good for you!
No, well, look, we could make a deal where I'll invite you up on stage anyway. Even if I win, I'll invite you up anyway and be like, yeah, look, none of this is possible without the writer director. The writer director.
Of course it wouldn't be possible. Of course it would not be possible if it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Rather than graciously accepting that I was brought up.
Yeah.
Of a show of respect. Of course it wasn't possible without me.
Yeah, you'll Kanye West me, or you'll
no offense, Harley, and I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let you finish.
I accept this award because Guy Pigden's performance was the best indie filmmaking performance of 2020 of all time.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Yeah. Or you could just come up on stage and slap me like halfway through. I'm halfway through my acceptance speech. You just come up and you just slap me, and then you turn around and rebutton your suit and walk back to take your seat. And we could do that as a publicity stunt.
Keep my motherfucking web series name out your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep my motherfucking award out your mouth.
And then obviously the awards show would ban me.
Well, we could do that as a publicity stunt though. It might be really funny. Like I'll just be coming down and then you just slap me.
What's happened?
With what?
Well.
Oh, you got muted somehow. Without us touching it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back.
I wonder how long you were muted for.
Wow.
Nobody on the live stream let us know. Come on, guys. One job.
Yeah, that's weird. It did just mute me for no reason. Well, I was shouting.
Luckily, you're speaking extremely loudly, so
might have been picked up in your microphone.
All coming in through my mic.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Well, because you got the headphones on as well.
I did stop hearing it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you did just then.
Yeah.
So it was just quick.
I think it was quick.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Technical difficulties. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, no. Well, we could recreate the Oscar slap just as something to do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if they give us access to the venue early and nobody's around, then we should definitely shoot that.
I'll give you a what's known as a working slap.
Yeah.
So a real slap is a slap. A working slap is when you slap someone, but you're not trying to actually hurt them. You just make it look like a slap.
There's quite a serious slap in Dubai,
Yeah.
and the sound designer, when he watched it, Vedat, was like, that's a pretty serious slap, because she just slapped him.
Yeah.
But the actor was kind of all for it. He was loving it.
There's always a classic in cinema. And amongst actors, and I will say, and I've heard this more than on one occasion, where someone has to slap someone else, and they go, "Yeah, just slap me for real." And I have made this statement too, and guess what?
It's a big mistake.
It's fucking stupid.
Well, because you can only do one take before you're like, ow! and also there's the potential for like a red cheek and all that.
And you also then kind of forgetting all your lines because you've been
you get
concussed.
Slapped. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually, when anyone ever suggests, or when you think as an actor of suggesting that someone actually slaps you for real, rethink that.
Yeah.
Rethink that. Try using your acting.
It's also just not necessary. Yeah. Use your acting, and
Try using your acting
and your angles and your sound effects. Because I like on this shoot with the actor that got slapped, the director asked me to bring like a bag of like cold peas or like an ice pack or something to put on the actor's face, and I was like, why? We're not going to be slapping. We're not actually slapping people. We're movie making.
Yeah.
We're making movies here. We pretend to slap people.
Yes.
We don't actually slap the people.
24 lies per second.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so, but I did bring the frozen peas along anyway, because the actors wanted to do it as well. So I was like, all right, look, fuck it. If the actors want to get slapped about,
All right, fuck it. I'm in charge of health and safety, but I endorse this concussion. I hereby endorse.
Endorse is a bit strong.
I give permission.
I'm running a live stream tomorrow. Finally got some paid work. I'm back. I'm back now that we've gone back in from red level of COVID restrictions to orange level of COVID restrictions. I'm back, so I'm running a live stream tomorrow, which I haven't done for ages, this particular live stream. So that'll be a trial by fire to get back up to speed, because I haven't done one for like 6 to 12 months sort of thing. But I really need that work for Amsterdam. Here I am, all this talk of like going away, and this is easily going to cost $5,000. So
That's the real problem.
yeah, $5,000, but not to mention the income lost and all of that as well. So plus the amount of time it takes when you get back. Well, actually, in my case, I am getting back and then going directly into some work. So that's kind of okay, I guess. But still, need that money. So if any of the listeners got any jobs for me, I'm a multi-skilled operator. You just get in touch, slide into my DMs, or cast me in your movie or something.
Now I'm just returned from Dunedin.
Oh yeah. I was going to ask you about that.
And that was cool. I showed my girlfriend around some of the Dunedin sites, and she was astounded. She was blown away. She was like, Dunedin is far more beautiful than Auckland. And I was like,
That's true.
yeah. I mean,
Auckland's not a famously beautiful city, though.
well, also it's sort of like you just have to drive a bit to get out of the bits of Auckland that aren't great. And don't even think about, just ignore South Auckland altogether.
Stay away.
And really West Auckland while we're on the subject. Really,
Auckland in general.
there's a lot, but not to say there's not nice places, but that's and we were quite fortunate that Dunedin turned it on for us. So the weather was not horrific, which is at this time, this is when the weather is getting horrific. And I've always maintained this, that Dunedin would be this beautiful, tropical, picturesque spot, similar to a Nelson or a Napier, but like this amazing tourist destination, or Queenstown, this beautiful, amazing tourist destination, if not for one thing. and that being that shitty weather. Because no matter what you have planned, and no matter what you do, the weather will undo all your plans every time you go there. And it's not just that like it's rainy or it's sunny or it's cold or it's windy. It's the fact that it's all of those things within a day.
You just chuck on your winter jandals, mate. Put on your winter stubbies and your winter jandals and your winter singlet and fucking...
Yeah, my girlfriend was
right.
laughing at some of those people
around.
that were walking around in like t-shirt and shorts and like this wind was blowing through. But for the most part, the weather was not too bad and it was a nice trip. And there is a lot to like... unseen Dunedin. There's a lot to see in Dunedin. We didn't even come close to getting through all the sort of sites that you can go to. We didn't even hit any of the beaches, for example. But there's just so much. There's so much good shit in there. So Dunedin was cool. It was good to be back. It was probably a little bit too short of a stay. Although, again, I just noticed this weird thing that every time I go to Dunedin, when I come back and weigh myself, I'm 2 to 3 kgs heavier than when I got there.
It's because you're staying with your parents.
Well, it's just an anomaly. I call it the Dunedin effect.
Yeah.
Go to Dunedin.
It's the parent effect.
Gain 3 kg.
Yeah.
So not very happy about that.
Well,
so
it's good
I
for
only
the
have
cold,
two.
right?
I only have two choices: never see my family ever again, or be a fat cunt. And I've just got to pick one of those two. So, Zena, Charles, it was lovely to see you, but this is going to be my last time.
Last visit, yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mum and Dad, and to my sister, Abby and Dwight, I'm sorry, but this has to be last time because I can't be packing on those kgs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been trying to slim down a little now in preparation for this Amsterdam thing, because the Amsterdam thing gives me some motivation, right? Because I've got to fit back into my suit without looking like a fat fucking idiot up on the stage when I win the award. I'll be walking around, I'll be meeting lots of people. Also, there's going to be lots of photos, all sorts of stuff going on. And I don't want to look like a big fat piece of shit who's managed to, like a sausage that's squeezed into a skin that's slightly too small for it. And have my buttons popping out.
Like when I shot those promo videos of you.
And I'm sitting here in a shirt that's like so tight that the buttons are bursting and my fat rolls are sort of squishing out between the buttons. And I think I look great until I look down or see the photos later. And so I don't want that again. And so I'm somewhat motivated to lose a bit of weight.
Me too.
Get in shape before Amsterdam.
Had a smoothie this morning with that in mind.
Yeah.
Because also this is the other thing.
I actually heard you making that smoothie.
Because also here's the other thing. And this is something that you say never meet your idols. Well, technically, over there, we're someone's idols.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're going to meet us.
And they're going to meet us.
It's going to be funny when you win the award, right? And they go, Guy Pigden for his role in Older, and it plays a little clip of Older, and you are both notably younger.
Yep.
Because it was shot so much longer before it came out. It came out in 2020, but it was shot around 2013 mostly. Yep. So you're 7 years younger. You are skinnier.
Yep.
And
100%.
You're clean shaven with a tidy short haircut, and then you're going to walk out with your mullet and your beard. And I was talking to somebody the other day about this, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to be so funny when he walks out there and looks completely different."
Well, yeah, and they'll go, and I'll walk up to the podium, and then they'll go, and the winner, Guy Pigden, please come to the stand. Please take this man off. Guy Pigden, please come up to accept your award. And I'm just standing there. Mr. Pigden, could you please walk to the podium and gratefully accept your award and move that homeless man along?
Mr. Pigden, is your son here to accept his award?
So, it will be funny. So that gives me motivation too. And I did even debate. I was like, is this a dyeing my hair award ceremony situation?
What colour would you dye it? Would you just get rid of the greys? Would that be the point? What about the beard? Would you dye the beard, or you just dye the hair and keep the beard grey?
Well, no, you'd have to do the whole
shebang.
Yeah.
So we'd have to
get rid of this.
Get rid of all the grey around the goatee.
Get rid of this.
All the hair.
Dye that back.
Yeah.
And good as new. It's like I haven't aged a day.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Is this the awards
know.
ceremony special?
yeah. I mean, on the one hand, I kind of want excuses to make myself look younger. But on the other hand, I feel like I don't know if I care enough. Apart from like, I mean, I'll shave my head to hide my, extremely receding hairline, my receded hairline. It's finished receding. I shouldn't say it like it's
It's an
a
ongoing
doing word.
thing.
Yeah, it's gone now. So so I could shave mine off just to get rid of the grays though. By shaving it, you get rid of the grays, and then I'll just have a tidy beard. My plan actually is to hit the barbers before I leave,
Ask for the Drake again.
and then get my Drake fade for like last time, and then this time, and then I'll just maintain it. So a couple of days, or so the day of the event, I'll just tidy it up a little, but based off their template that they've given me. So yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah, so there's a question mark around that, but I do also kind of like the idea.
Of dyeing hair.
No, of not dyeing it
Yeah.
and just going.
What?
Time marches on, people.
Yeah.
Time marches on.
Live with it.
I'm studying for a new role now. This is for a new role.
What's
Make
the
a
role?
little pithy joke to begin with.
Yeah. Well, what's
See?
the role?
Doesn't matter. It's just
Yeah.
I'm changed my look.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think there's definitely room in your acceptance speech for some jokes about getting older and getting fatter and the sequel being called Fatter and stuff like that. I think there's lots of jokes you can slip into your acceptance speech there.
Talking
referencing.
like it's a done deal.
Yeah, it's in the bag, mate. They wouldn't have asked you to come all the way over.
I tell you what, anytime you've ever said
It's in
anything's
the
in the
bag,
bag, has confirmed 100% that it is not in the bag.
that it has not happened.
And it was never in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also have you been following the Johnny Depp Amber Heard?
Oh, I tell you what, mate. Fucking YouTube has really overestimated my interest in Johnny Depp's divorce proceedings.
You must have clicked on one.
I haven't. I haven't clicked on a single one of them, and yet it's constantly being promoted to me as something that I might be interested in. Johnny Depp's divorce fucking shit. I don't care.
It's not a divorce. It's a
But
libel case.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, like Johnny having a problem with his missus is not really any of my business. And it's not something I'm particularly interested in. And I have been kind of assuming that
it's bloody good stuff.
I'll pick up something around the periphery of it, but so far I'm like, okay, this is not very interesting to me. But why? What do you got? What happened?
Oh, so much good stuff.
Yeah?
It's amazing. I'm loving every minute of it because, it's a window into the lifestyles of the rich and famous. But
Yeah.
those Hollywood biographies and stuff like that, they always gloss over this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? They always gloss over dropping a dookie on your partner's bed out for revenge. That
Because
stuff.
what did he do? Because I heard
That's what she did.
Oh, she did it. Yeah.
Yeah. She shit on his side of the bed.
And then she went to
Quite
sleep
literally.
and then on her side.
Quite literally. No, then
Yeah.
she went away.
Yeah.
But no, look, it's fascinating because all these.
He probably liked it. He just masturbated over it.
I don't know. I don't think so. There's a lot of sordid, scandalous details.
Yeah.
And they're all really interesting. And like lots of these ones are, pretty dry and boring. There is not a single thing boring about these proceedings. And every new day brings new revelations about, certain things. So, we've learnt that Johnny Depp has been in all those Pirates of the Caribbean movies and never watched a single one of them. We've learnt that Amber Heard dropped a turd. We've learnt that Johnny Depp, we've heard the sounds of Johnny Depp moaning locked inside the toilet of a private jet, coked out of his mind and having taken many pills and alcohol. We've learnt that Johnny Depp likes to text quite hilarious and obviously I'll get cops some flack for this. Some sort of hilarious texts about so
Setting her on fire.
yes, these texts have been like, but it's weird because I'm like, okay, so he didn't text this to her.
No.
But he was saying sort of like, yeah, I'd love to set her on fire and fuck her dead corpse just to be sure, right? Now some people would say that's horrific. It's horrendous.
Quite horrific.
But someone would, on the other hand, someone would say, well, yeah, he's having a laugh.
Or he's venting to a friend.
Yeah, and also that's the thing. It's like, it's different if you message that to your partner. If I message that to you.
Or to somebody that you intend to help with the murder.
If I message that to you, venting, then I don't know, because these were messages to Paul Bettany, who's another actor, actor. He plays Vision in the Marvel movies, the android robot thing. Anyway, and he's in lots of movies. But anyway, he was sending these texts to him, and I was like, okay, so why are we reading these texts now? Why are these texts being read out in court? They weren't to Amber Heard. And did Paul Bettany send these to the lawyers?
Yeah.
How did these texts become part of this case? Who is this Paul Bettany letting down his best mate Johnny Depp and sending these texts through, or is this like a request where a lawyer can request all the texts sent about a person from all the I don't know, But it was just kind of fascinating.
Maybe his entire phone records were taken as part of the
I'm
investigation, and
assuming,
then they were allowed
and then someone has trawled through there.
Yeah.
These, but it's all good stuff, and it was like, so what we've learned is, Johnny Depp is, or was, did have a severe drug addiction. That's absolutely, and he was off his trolley a lot of the times. We definitely also know that Amber Heard was quite a vicious, vindictive person that did a lot of bad things, including at times assaulting Johnny Depp, etc. And was very abusive in her own right. And then there's this rumor, and I can't believe you haven't heard anything about this, but that she slept with Elon Musk and someone else while she was married to Johnny Depp. Johnny was very unhappy with this.
Yeah.
And then she would then accuse Johnny Depp of being obsessed with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And I think the idea was, he's like, well, I'm obsessed because you slept with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so there's just I
haven't heard that one.
Yeah. No, that's one of them. And Johnny Depp was like, Elon Musk was like, oh, of course that's untrue.
Yeah.
I only started dating Amber Heard 1 month after their divorce.
Right.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Very convenient, Elon.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like the type. Daddy Musk would never.
Oh my God.
Would never have sex with somebody else's wife. He would never do that. He would never do that to me. So I don't believe it for a second. I think that they started dating a month after the divorce. The divorce was finalized. I'm not sure why he'd want to, though, if she's as vindictive and horrible as everybody says.
Well, I guess that's the thing is...
Him buying Twitter has really fucked up my Tesla stock, by the way.
Yeah, well, people are unhappy about that.
He's borrowed money. He's borrowed money against his Tesla stock. So he hasn't sold his Tesla stock, but he's borrowed money against his Tesla stock to buy Twitter, and that he could potentially sell a bunch of his Tesla stock in order to buy Twitter. And if he did do that, then that would mean the market will get flooded with a whole bunch of extra pieces of Tesla stock, which will drive the price of Tesla stock down. It dropped something like, it was something ridiculous last night, like, I don't know, 5% or 12% or something. It dropped some huge amount last night as a result of this Twitter thing, combined with a few other factors. But sorted out, Elon. I was like, what's this Twitter bullshit? I don't care about this Twitter storyline. This Twitter storyline that he's got going on here, I'm not really feeling it. He says it's for free speech, and I get that, but I more figure, it's not really your problem though, Elon. How about this? You concentrate on Tesla and SpaceX. and don't really bother with too much with Tesla, because it seems like a big distraction and a big like thing that's going to take away from his ability to look after these other companies. And also, it's weird because he's already been in big trouble with the SEC, which is the, I don't know, like I can't even remember what they're called now, the Suck Elon's Cock Commission. And they, he in trouble for for tweeting. So he's already in trouble for tweeting, and now he owns Twitter. And it's like, because whenever he tweets, he can potentially affect the stock market, and he can get in trouble for that. And so now that he owns Twitter, how much trouble is this guy going to get in? And it's going to like end up causing him all sorts of troubles. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But seems like a horrible distraction to me.
Well, it all started when he slept with Amber Heard behind Johnny's back. Right? That's when he started getting ideas above his station. And then that's when he...
Above his station is the richest, most influential man on earth.
Exactly. Well, no, you can only take that moniker so far before people turn on you.
Yeah.
And people are 100% turning on him.
Not me.
Well, all I can
Not me, Daddy Musk.
All I can say is it's great. It's great TV. This Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. The other interesting thing about it is that this has already happened once, right? So he sued the Sun in the newspaper for labeling him a wife beater. Right, around this, and they did this whole dance over in the UK, where he lost, and the judge decided that it was probable, he was a wife beater, and therefore the term attributed to him was not incorrect, and therefore he's not justified. But he did it all again. He's doing it all again to see if he can get a different decision over here, which is really interesting. Yeah, what do you think? Was he a wife beater?
Me? What do the listeners think? Sound off in the comments, people. But no, I mean, it sounds like a pretty horrible relationship, and it sounds as well like there's drugs and alcohol involved, and also he seems like a cool guy. Like, I like Johnny Depp, not having met him, but I like him, and I like his work and all that, and he seems like a cool dude, but he's got the same problems as every other rich and famous person, and they all go crazy eventually. And he's been, A-list famous for a long time, and he's kind of a kooky, off the beaten track kind of dude. So I don't know. It seems to me that quite possible that in this toxic relationship, that she might have been just as guilty or more guilty, but that every now and then he probably did do something, probably did slap her or something. I mean, if you're like all coked up out of your brain and you're a fucking Johnny Depp, and then you've got this super toxic person doing all these horrible things, I don't know, seems kind of plausible to me that at some point things could get physical. Especially if you're so out of touch with reality and you're a millionaire and you can sort of think you can do whatever you want because you're Johnny Depp and you've been able to do whatever you want for a long time. It all seems kind of plausible. It's just like the Will Smith thing, but
But he has kept a very low profile, as in before this whole situation happened. No one, and
isn't that suspicious?
What, that he's kept a very low profile?
Yeah.
Well, as in, I guess,
lots of skeletons to hide,
or he just doesn't behave in that certain way, as in he's never behaved in that way, so that's why there's nothing that...
Oh, so you're saying like because he's never beaten up, he doesn't have a history of beating people or
no,
beating women?
No history, all these glowing testimonials about him, both off and on set, although it looks like he was had a few problems on that last Pirates movie.
Right. What do you do?
Apparently there was, just a lot of talk of him being, pretty drunk and but again, it was more about the behavior offset than it was on.
Right.
There was another quote in here.
Drunk like while he's acting, or drunk just around the production sort of thing.
Like maybe
drunk on screen.
Not on screen, I don't think. But there was also he talked about the last Pirates movie. Like this is in the whole thing of it being a piece of shit, and he had to rewrite a bunch of it. And there's just this great stuff.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. I highly encourage people to watch those YouTube clips. They're really entertaining. I don't think he did hit Amber Heard. I think that he.
How long were they together?
Like three, four, from 2015 to like 2018 or 19, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I think there was one slap and 4 years of partying and toxic relationships. There wasn't a slap here and there, or
well, he also
something.
talks about coming from abusive parents and all that sort of thing. So it's sort of ingrained in him this idea that this is inherently wrong.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm just guessing. I'm totally speculating. I have no idea. But you're right that obviously, when you become under the influence of something, suddenly your personality is no longer the only personality that is present that could do something that would go against how you normally behave. So it greatly increases the chances. But for me, I feel like the whole even reason that he's doing this court case again after losing once and spending X amount of millions of dollars
is because he's innocent.
Is not because he's exactly innocent. Innocent is probably the wrong word, but he never did specifically hit her, and she did specifically hit him. Now, he is guilty of doing other bad things and being abusive in other ways, I'm sure, and this whole drug addiction thing being a serious problem, which is not Amber Heard's fault, and absolutely it would have contributed to their relationship going on the rocks. But I just feel like this is his moral code, like it's my moral code, that this is one thing I don't do. Now, I'll go on crazy drinking benders and do cocaine and everything else. And, maybe I'll throw a few insults about your fat ass and whatever else and say some like pretty nasty stuff, as people often do in these escalated fights. I mean, have you not said a nasty thing to your partner in a heightened fight?
Of course. It happens.
We say things we don't really mean.
I more mean on this podcast.
We say things. Sometimes we say things we do mean, but we didn't want to slip out.
Yeah.
But either way, we say things that we otherwise wouldn't normally say in a non-heightened state.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's part of his thing. He doesn't do this, and all he wants is for that to be, because it doesn't really matter. Even if he wins this case and gets that money, he's lost that money already through his lawyers, through the movies that he's not getting, through everything else. He's essentially lost any amount of money he could potentially make, right? So this is only a purely look, I know that I did not do this. I may have done many other things, but I know I did not do this, and I do not want to be labeled as that. And so I will go through all this. I'll go through us reading out Paul Bettany's texts, which he also did say, because they also keep skipping this bit out about this whole let's burn her and all this sort of thing. He was like, it was a quote from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which it is, when they're burning the witch at the stake, and he's calling her a witch. So it all stands to reason. It's kind of like that whole time that I not expelled. What's the thing? Suspended from school for threatening a teacher, because I said if you tear up that piece of paper, I have to kill you. I was quoting the movies where you say that. I wasn't like, I'm going to fucking
kill. What movie?
I'm going to fucking kill. How many, if I told you that, I'd have to kill you, right?
Yeah.
As a long held expression, and so that's what I was saying. I was like, well, look, if you tear that up, I'd have to kill you. And it was said in that way, right? But she was like, I fucking got him. I got him. Got him.
This little shit. He finally fucked
you
up.
Little motherfucker. You tripped right up, didn't you? You did. You fucking tripped right up. But I'm gonna nail you as hard as I fucking can.
Physical threats against
Y'all
the
fucked
faculty.
up now, boy. Y'all fucked up now. And so she marched right down to the principal's office and said that I threatened her life. You know, and And thus I was suspended. That is the story of how I was suspended from school for making death threats to a teacher.
Yeah.
Right? Now here we have Johnny Depp quoting the whole Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Now, maybe he took it a little bit further, with some of those further texts. But it's true that that was the beginning of the things, and he was venting. And I'm not actually defending him saying those things. But I do think that inherently he did not do that. He did not perpetuate any domestic violence. And therefore, and that's why he's so, he's like, I'll lose everything to just get that. Just to get that one thing. Because everyone else would have just gone. Because also you have to think about it. If he hadn't sued, right, the first time round, and if he hadn't sued again, not a single piece of this information would be out in the public. All that would be out would be a story which sort of says that he did these things, which is allegedly did these things, right? That's all that would be out there. Now, we know that Johnny Depp is like this crazy, crazy mad drug addict with a dark sense of humor who, and we've heard him moaning in the toilet, and he opened himself all up to that just for this one thing to be retracted. So anyway, that's my sort of take on it. But it's good.
I think if it did happen, he wouldn't even remember.
But that's the thing. That's the thing.
It's like if you're if you're high and you're drunk and you've been on a bender for several days and whatever, you're traveling and flying in planes and got these big problems with your partner. I don't know. Just seems to me like, plausibly it could happen.
Well, Tyler says he really does not seem to like physical violence, and he is a patient sub.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think...
Sob. S-O-B.
Oh, sob. Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch, yeah.
I thought submissive.
Yeah, no, he's a patient son of a bitch. Yeah. I like to think he didn't do it.
Yeah, well, so that's that. But the jury is still out. But I'm also I'm like, shit, I hope none of these jurors go on YouTube.
Afterwards. Yeah.
Because essentially, if we're talking about this particular thing,
wonder what there is to stop that happening. Like you could be
nothing.
a juror in a high-profile case, and then afterwards do your tell-all on YouTube, or book or whatever it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, this. There
must be some sort of confidentiality stuff. There must be. It must be a non-disclosure.
Yeah, but it's more like if you're swayed, if your opinion is one thing, it could too easily be swayed by watching YouTube and these anti-Amber Heard.
Oh, I see. You mean actually going on YouTube?
Yeah, literally going you're watching. You're going
like
for
me.
Your
I'm not even watching it, and it pops up as a
exactly.
thing.
You're going for your regular just YouTube tech
I'm just looking
reviews.
at World War II and
Savage filmmaker. You want to know about the latest Blackmagic Pocket 6K, and then suddenly you've been presented this skewed revisit of what you've watched in court, and you're like, yeah, that Amber Heard is quite evil.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. There you go. Well.
He's not guilty.
He's not guilty.
Of that.
Well, I think that's all the time we have tonight. That's all the topics I have. I did just want to say that the war in Europe is ongoing, and that it seems to be still going very badly for the Russians, by all accounts. And it's kind of crazy. You see all these videos of all these tanks and other weapons being destroyed, and you kind of go, oh yeah, cool, tank, whatever. Anti-air thing, whatever. But actually, some of these vehicles are like $15 million each, or some of the other vehicles are, they're all, a tank is a lot of money. It's like $1 million. It's not $50,000 or $50. It's like it's a lot of money for every one of these vehicles. So, there's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of destroyed equipment lying around out there. And so, that's a lot of rubles when you're paying, when you're talking about 15 million, American US dollars for an anti-aircraft, command vehicle type thing, and then you're paying for that in rubles. It's a lot, and then they're doing things like obviously they've got these rockets, but even these rockets that they're firing, right? You're shooting like a rocket which is worth like $50,000 or something. Like if you look at a rocket, it's not, you don't just whip it up. It's all this like technology all put together, all this wiring and all this, figuring out and, all of these kind of rare resources that you need to put in and the engineering and all that to create a missile. And then you shoot that missile at a fucking orphanage and another one at a school and another one at a hospital, and it's like it costs thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars just to like blow up these kind of like civilian, buildings that have no military or very little military value to, from the Russian perspective. It's not going to help them win the war necessarily. And so it's just interesting to see to think about the billions potentially of dollars that are being like eaten up by this war.
Russia's not a rich country.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem sustainable to me. And so, it seems like as long as the war keeps going, that's actually kind of probably a bad thing for Russia. It's also interesting because So you know how I mentioned that there was some Nazis defending a place called Mariupol, and like everyone thought they were going to be wiped out by now, but actually it's like day 60 or day 61 of the war now, and they're still in Mariupol, these defenders, and they're the Azov battalion, who are originally, I don't know if they still are, but they sort of started out as a right-wing Nazis type militia. And so these guys, I'm a bit worried that these guys now are going to be superheroes amongst the right wing community. Like, these guys are going to be heroes because basically they've done an amazing job. They've fought really hard for 60 days. They haven't been defeated. They're in this big steelworks, and the steelworks is like 11 kilometers worth of land, and it's in the heart of the city by the waterfront, and they possess that land, and it's all filled with Soviet era World War II bunkers, nuclear that can are designed to withstand like nuclear blasts type thing. So that's what they're defending. So they're in the heart of the city, and they're still there now. And so, at first I was like, well, this is good. Like all the Nazis are going to get killed, and they're going to be fighting the Russians. The enemy of my enemy. Well, that's good. My enemies are fighting my enemies. But now I'm starting to think that actually these guys are going to be known as lauded as heroes, as many of them should be, but maybe not the Nazi ones. But they're not all Nazis, to be fair. It started as a Nazi kind of battalion, but I think it's more like now they just are kind of okay with Nazis, but they're not necessarily a Nazi battalion. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Russia was never really considered a rich country, right? And this is only going to be, affecting their bottom line. Quite substantially. Yeah,
well, plus all the economic sanctions and all that type of thing. There's videos of the people like fighting for sugar and stuff like that. It's just interesting. Like what a terrible I don't know, what a miscalculation basically on Putin's behalf is what it seems. Like I don't really see how he's going to get out of this because he's a dictator almost, like sort of a dictator, and you can't, as a dictator, you can't go around losing wars. If you go around losing wars, then your inner circle is going to start looking at you as maybe being not as strong as, you make yourself out to be. And if suddenly the general population are anti-you and you've just lost a war and, you've bankrupted everybody, it seems to me that his inner circle are kind of likely to be like, hey, should we talk about maybe getting rid of this guy? Like, who would we put in his seat? Maybe I know a guy,
Yeah.
And so it seems to me that Putin's in a particularly precarious position right now, and the sort of Damocles dangles above him at the moment. So it's it's all very interesting. It's very interesting. My hope is that basically NATO does not get involved with the war apart from sending weapons, but they don't get involved with the war. There's no boots on the ground. There's no planes in the sky. And all it is that the Ukraine wins this with the support of the West. They win the war themselves, fair and square. And basically Russia just has to retreat, and then there's no chance for it to escalate into something broader because basically Russia went in, made a mistake, got its ass handed to itself, and then got sent home, with its tail between its legs, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, that's a pretty good ending to all of this. but maybe it's a lot more scary if NATO get involved and it turns into a big wider nuclear war or just a wider war. So we'll see. Some people don't agree with that, though. Some people say, well, what NATO should be doing is they shouldn't be appeasing Russia. They should be going straight in right now and, kicking Russia's ass while Russia is sort of weak and performing shitly anyway. Just go in there, kick their fucking ass and kick them out. Because that's like, at the beginning of World War II, there was all this appeasement from Neville Chamberlain and the crew, and they were like, appeasing Hitler, and ultimately it was silly because if they had actually just kicked his ass right at the beginning, all of World War II wouldn't have kicked off. So it's different ways of looking at it. But my hope is that basically the Ukraine wins with the support of the West, and Russia goes home, and that's it. And I also want the Ukrainians to go on the offensive and take back the land they lost in 2014 as well. So they take back the Crimea and the Donbass and stuff, and like basically go back to being Ukraine. Daniela, who is from Moldova, which is next to Ukraine, said that Moldova got, quote, tickled a bit recently, and she hopes that the war won't expand. And tickled, I'm not sure what she means exactly. If I feel like I would have heard about it if some missiles had landed in Moldova or something. But there's a part of Moldova that's pro-Russian and separatist. That is, there's a region there that is pro-Russian and separatist that doesn't want to be a part of Moldova and wants to be a part of Russia, even though there's a whole other country between Moldova and Russia, which is the Ukraine. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. Mark Hanna says that he wishes Putin and the other Ukraine leaders, Zelensky, just had a fist fight to the death, and whoever wins, wins. That way, nobody innocent gets killed, because leaders start wars and sit pretty living it up while everyone below them dies or starves. Well, that's true. I mean, I kind of agree. It would be great if we just had two champions. We just go, all right, so we're just going to put forward our best champion, and the person who wins the war. But unfortunately, that wouldn't work, obviously, because you wouldn't be happy with that if you lost. You'd be like, well, I'm not giving up all this territory because I lost, because somebody who's not me, or because somebody lost a fist fight, right? So I don't really think that would actually work. And it's the same with the future of warfare, right? Is going to be like robots and drones and a lot of automated killing, but they'll be automatedly killing other robots and other drones. So, one country will have their force of robots and another country will have their force of robots, and they'll all fight. And you go, okay, well, that sounds great because that means no humans are dying, right? This is a good thing? Well, of course it's a good thing until one of the robot armies is defeated, and then that nation goes, well, now we've got to send our humans against their robots. And that's, so the slaughter still happens. It just costs hundreds of billions of dollars first in technology, robotic technology and all that being destroyed, and infrastructure and all the other stuff that happens with it. Yeah.
A Johnny Five style situation.
Is it? Johnny Five is alive. Animate, reanimate. Deanimate, reanimate. Deanimate, reanimate. Yeah, I remember that.
I feel like he would
the butterfly. You remember that?
Wasn't he? Yeah, wasn't he originally designed as a war
killer
robot?
I think you might be right. He was an escaped killer war robot who was peace loving.
Yeah.
Let us know if we're wrong about that. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Also, just confirmed, the cockroaches have not been sprayed.
Oh,
we have not gone to war with them. I just got the confirmation.
That's interesting.
And he was like, I did not.
That's interesting, because all of a sudden there was, on one day in particular, I found like 5 or 6 different cockroaches, and they were all on their back and they were all kicking their legs a little bit, but basically dead. And I was like, oh, he must have come. That's another place I saw them, in the laundry. I saw a bunch of them in the laundry, and I was like, okay. So it seems like he must have come around and done a spray, and now they're all dying. But obviously not. There's literally 2 on my front porch that I haven't bothered to get rid of yet. 2 dead ones.
Well, the problem is sometimes they seem dead, and then you touch them and they're
just having a nap.
Leap back to life.
Yeah.
Gotta hate that.
Yeah, well, the trick is not to touch them. You just got to squish them.
Yeah.
Although she who shall be named doesn't like to squish them, because she says the eggs then go everywhere. If it's a female one, so you squish it in your bathroom and then you pick it up and you chuck it down the toilet, but then there's a bunch of eggs on the ground.
How big are those eggs?
Well, they're not. They're tiny. You don't even notice. You don't even notice them. So they're just kind of there. These can spread around the house. These cockroach eggs, because instead of killing the bug, with a chemical and then putting it down the toilet, you squished it, and all the eggs came squirting out everywhere. And then later on, more eggs will, more cockroaches will be born.
Mark's never seen a cockroach in Dunedin, he says.
It's too cold in Dunedin for cockroaches.
And he said it's too cold for them. It probably is.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't... it's hard to say, but I certainly don't... They weren't running rampant like they are...
They do better in warmer environments, for sure. In Mexico, I went to one place where there was just an area where they were just... And they were huge, and they were the flying kind, and they were just constantly there. And it was like a beautiful waterfront walk. You'd go walking down the waterfront, but there was this one area where there was just hundreds of squished ones, because they kept on coming out of there, and people who were walking around would squish them on their way past. And so there was just like this wee area where there was hundreds of squished ones and hundreds of live ones.
Horrific.
And they were the flying type. So these ones don't fly. I've never seen these ones flying.
Oh, haven't you?
Nah.
I've seen them.
No, never seen them fly.
I told you one flew
that'll give me
at
a fright. That'll give me a fright.
Yeah, they can. They have the ability. They have the power.
Well,
flying
cockroaches.
That wraps things up for this episode.
For this episode of the Guy and Harley podcast. So thank you very much for listening. As always, all the links and all the best ways to support us are in the description down below. That's all really important to us, particularly at the moment with us going to Amsterdam and being really in need of some extra money. So if you guys would like to support us, the Patreon down there's also Buy Me a Beer, which is a great way to make a one-off donation. You want to give us $5 or you want to buy the beers for the next episode of the show, there's a link in the description. That money goes directly to us, minus a small fee from the venue, from the website. So it's a great way to support us. Tesla's super cheap at the moment. There's a link down below. Sign up, buy some Tesla, away you go. Get rich. So there's lots of ways to support us down below. That's super important. And we will be back. We normally do it on Sundays. We're going to do it this Sunday. It's Wednesday now. We're a bit late this week.
We'll see how we go.
We'll see how we go, but we'll definitely be back next week in order to regale you with more tales of cockroaches and wars and other stuff like that.
Alrighty, team. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.